It was a Marquise car, a different emblem. Then you can't change an emblem in words. An old car from 2010 onwards, and I had this birthmark. So they go forth for some phony footage or have some false testimony. They can't go forth and do that because of this figure. From my standard, I had at the time can post the photographs of where I was at that point in time in 2010 was the grocery store clerk or whatever, like cashier clerk. You have to sack for the grocery store and nearby from the point in time, and had a Ford Taurus at that time, and the Ford Taurus wasn't damaged or anything from the standards of having a car that didn't make the make and model was different from the one that was supposedly in whatever consequences opposed from what they're trying to say from somebody. Not Final Fantasy 12 game where there was a Bosch character who was in a dungeon with a beard and shit, and they fucking. I never had a beard, but I just figured a goatee isn't a fucking full on beard. My hair was never brown, so go forth and say that when I was more thinner, oh, more thinner than. Say my full name Jonathan Ortega if it goes forth and doesn't go off too much of the light. You almost here? Alright. Alright. As periodically parents work 9 to 5, so they can't go forth and say that none of us had place of employment. I have a blindness and a pension that's from sort of like one of those. If you have some sort of service into something, you can get somebody's pension by being related to them in some form or manner. And it's just basically going forth and explaining that to them instead of going forth and having all the photos of this guy serving in the service, or if they're being belligerent towards you, for having somebody who served in the service for the point of time and had a John Deere pension or whatever. They had that tractor trailer company that has the pensions that have them, and they were vets in the service that had jobs outside of that selling tractor trailers and stuff. And he could make the trailer sort of like the in his restaurant. He had the John Deere trailer that he mounted on the concrete when it was there, but the tortilla factory is still there with the at the point in time I worked 3 years, no matter what they say, probably 6 years altogether, because 3 years at a tortilla factory and then 3 years at the Coffin Foundation during high school. So They can't go forth and be belligerent towards somebody with information that was correct until they fucking went and turned and into like a circus and always do that shit to people. I'm not even drunk. I'm not even on anything. I'm not on anything other than I eat and drink water and pop. I drink like caffeine and pop. Pop is probably like the only my downfall is drinking like soda pop. So I can't go forth and be like sort of enemy of the state where you just go forth and think you had a notion of knowing that I would know where a guy would have been at 4 in the morning and which one he was if they were in the dark in alleyways, cul-de-sac. Ability to damage car didn't have damages on it, so the car didn't have damages on it. So they can't go forth and say this person did that because it's fucking crazy. And gonna be for overweight people, and one of those cars wasn't damaged. The car that the person had was damaged. So, what the fuck? A guy is able to say because he's the president, he can't go forth and do any of that creepy shit because it's just a person behind a office job or whatever. It's not like a third world country where they act like the dictator, like the guys that want to be dictator is like in charge and then does genocide where they kill somebody straight out. Like the Dead Rising had that genocide shit where they go forth and commit like atrocities off people that had like a jungle spot. They spot a jungle and murder people from Hispanic ethnicity on that Capcom Dead Rising game where they fucking go forth in that Santa Cabeza, that country in between Brazil and Spain or whatever. Those countries that they don't get upset having them use the Mexican names and stuff to be able to do all sorts of stuff in video games and demonstrate that it's just a video game, sure, but if they go forth and do that shit for real in real life, then it's crazy. Not the footage, whatever footage they have, is not gonna have somebody with the fucking mole inside of their fucking face. And whatever clothes I had on at the time, I still have almost the same exact clothes that I had from 2010. So they can't go forth and say this person was wearing a Mexico shirt 2010 and he went and did some crazy shit with a bunch of people with tattoos and shit. Can't go forth and say that because they're trying to say that overweight people were the ones that did it. And the ones they actually got were skinny fucking people, or midway skinnier than what I appear like. So I got long ass fingernails back then. When I was holding I had long pointer and long pinky fingernails. They can't go forth and say big ass long fingernails pulled out some shit on somebody and they just noticing that it's fucked up. It's still fucked up. They still blame people that they do worse shit to other people, and you're blamed for something that couldn't possibly fucking do because I would know where the guy would have possibly fucking been at 4 in the fucking morning or wherever the fuck. Nobody would have told me that either. I mean, if I fucking happened to know, wouldn't have known. Going to the Roanoke back then and exercise, sure, but I lost weight mid 2011 from walking from one place to another at random. Fork and sort of just zoom in on my face, and you could tell that I'm not a serial killer by means of so thinner than whatever the fuck that shit appears to be. able to demonstrate something and have demonstration proof. Demonstrate something, you're just demonstrating it to show that it can't be someone else, because how the fuck has the ability to say you were at a place at a point in time in 2010 in July when I had a job at that point in time to be able to go to voc rehab and show all that proof and just keep that in like a safe deposit box if I didn't get fucked over by someone if I had to go wake up and go to a job site or whatever and get a job back then from whatever the fuck I have now is because of the shit. They can't go forth and change their mind, say, oh, this, that, this, that, over and over again until you fucking snap. The West lied about me being at a party at 4 in the morning. There's gonna write an article stating that.
When
There's a Arturo, that guy that draws stuff, and then he gets as much following, and I didn't think I would get as much following from having the ability to post on YouTube from the time of 2015, but then I logged out of it because I just figured on one point in time I didn't want to get it to where it deletes off or someone else try to compromise it. I mean, compromise when you have somebody else try to act like you would be you, and they can't go forth and do that if they have rules set up in terms of the policy on YouTube. I left that TV up that had a notion of knowing that the TV still works, but this is getting a table for it, or if the table didn't carry its weight. And having the table from the 90s and having a picture of your diploma from one of the schools back then in 2008, and not 2008, but 2000 or 98, and going into 2000s, into 2001, graduated from elementary school. 2004, graduated from middle school via a charter. It was charter schools don't lose their accreditations, like Missouri had lost its accreditation. That's why I thought they had originally said that, because of the accreditation issue. But if that was the case, it still wouldn't have been voided or whatever the fuck, because it was a charter school. That's why the thing reads public, private, charter 2012 or 2008 with 12th grade. In 2012, I got banged up by something in 2012, but not 2010. So I can't go forth and change dates and times. So they couldn't do that in real life. Yeah, my Aunt Francis. So they couldn't put bogus charges on somebody who was getting something to eat for two people that were there at the house at the time. That relative had somebody staying with us at the time, and they remodeled the house, and the relative no longer lives. And they just passed away of natural causes. But Maddie and my grandma Josephine were both here at the time, and my stories matched up without a cell phone to explain text or anything from 2012. It's not 2010, so they can't go forth and be like this belligerent towards the information, belittle you, tell you a bunch of shit. I was up to be able to do anything funny to somebody if they didn't do anything towards my ass back. If I'd say that like that and establish that I wasn't nowhere near, and why the hell did Evan hang around with me then? If that guy, it's like Kathy Morris's fault that the John Paul Garcia got murdered because if any correction anybody was around them, they act two faced and they have all their friends and say a bunch of creepy shit to you once over and over again until you snap on them. It's their fault. I see that I had somebody right there saying a bunch of creepy shit that wasn't the truth on that creepy fucking guy, that Peter Davis dude. Was able to establish it wasn't a serial killer then if this guy was gonna fucking dox a person's house, meaning when they go to in front of a person's house and film it and say a bunch of creepy shit that wasn't the truth. That's why we moved because we didn't want to fucking tell me a bunch of creepy shit. I still unlocked all the Street Fighter characters on whatever the fuck account is, 3 accounts I had on PlayStation. Those people from Sony, they all get new accounts and they go forth and you see that Alana Pierce had a bunch of accounts and they don't tell her. I mean, they probably do tell her a bunch of creepy shit, but they don't do anything fucking to it towards them. I was employed by Sega soon thereafter to get an unlock a high score, and they wrote to you saying they want to verify your account. They verify someone's account, meaning they go forth and say that you're that person with the email address attached to originally having that on that Apple account was that Ortega Jonathan Ortega 11 was my account from the Apple thing from having done all that originally on that account, but having that notion of knowing that I have the proof of the shit all on there because I have a shirt on from 2010 and it had a photograph of me looking upwards towards the light fixture because they probably for some reason put cameras in their light fixtures or whatever ability of knowing how they put something in a camera for sure because I remember staring up at it at one point in time hearing some weird shit come from it, knowing that they can't go forth and say this person, this, that, the other, when they should install something inside the light fixtures or smoke detectors or because I don't see anything in the corner of the wall, so you can't go forth and say it's in the light. All right, hold up.